my neck, my back hurts. Okay? My neck and my back hurts. And I chipped my toenail. Chip my toenail. There's only two ways you chip your toenail. You stub it or you've been on your feet working hard. And I did not stub my toe. So it's the latter. Let's just have a quick rundown of what's tea, what's been going on, because it's been crazy this holiday season. That's number one. So I haven't got a chance to just sit and talk to you guys. You guys know that I like to do it in a quiet, cute space, but we had to improvise. I'm literally at work. I'm in D Gates because the people in D Gates have a little more class and they mind their business. So we're here in D Gates at DFW. So if you see me and you see me recording right now, say hey. I also wanted to welcome all the new members that are a part of the Pristine Posse. We have made it to 2K, 2,000 members of the Pristine Posse, like, period. And we're going to continue to grow slowly but steady. I'm not complaining because it's all part of the journey. So thank you guys for subscribing and tuning in to my channel. And be sure to leave the comments, okay? Talk to me in the comments. You know that I talk back. And honestly, if it wasn't for you all like leaving comments and liking and subscribing and sharing, don't forget to share. But because you guys comment, it reminds me like, girl, you need to be letting them know what's going on. You need to be posting. Like, so I had a trip to go to Mexico. It was supposed to be a quick turn. I don't even remember like how to pronounce the name of the place. I'm gonna like insert a couple of like pics of the airport, or at least outside the airport. We're gonna get into that. Anyways, we're just gonna say Mexico for right now. We went to Manzanillo, Mexico. And here's a quick little view. It kind of reminds me of Greece just a little bit because it had a lot of white buildings. Let me know if you've ever been to Manzanillo, Mexico. And what did you do out there? Is it a vibe? Also, this is the airport. Small, but the people were so sweet. All right, so I check into this trip at 9 a.m. and we're supposed to just go to Mexico and come back, and I'll be done by 4, right? Y'all. So I bring my snacks. I bring sushi. I bring some sopressata. I bring a little chicken salad, just a tiny one, because I was like, we don't need to do too much because we're going to be back home by 4, right? It's a 2-hour flight to get there, and then we're just going to turn back around and have a 2-hour flight back. So because the flight was 2 hours, me, being Miss Piggy, ate all her food on the way there. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to buy something in the airport once we get to the airport. So once we land and the passengers were nice, it was only like 40 people on the plane, so it was a smooth flight. We're gonna call the other flight attendant Rachel. So I was working with Rachel. I've actually worked with Rachel before, and she's cool. So I was like, great. Working with someone that I know, this is gonna be a vibe. We get there. Not only did I eat all my food, she ate all her food. So we were both like, okay, let's hurry up, get these people off the plane, and then we're gonna step off the plane, grab some food, come back, and get ready to come back to America, to Dallas. So once we got everyone off the plane, we're about to step off and go into the airport. Y'all, why? Basically, the like crew of that airport in Mexico, they were like, oh, there's only one store in there and it's like a little mini mart and it's just sandwiches and the sandwiches are nasty. So they were like, you should just wait till you go back home. So I'm like, how do y'all only have one place to grab food and then it's nasty? Like, make it make sense. But I was like, you know what? I'm glad y'all told me that before I waste my money and be disgusted. My biggest pet peeve is wasting not only money but calories on a meal that's not satisfying. So I was like, you know what? Okay, I'm just gonna eat a little Biscoff cookie, and I think I had some oatmeal. Like I always bring a quick meal that I can eat that I don't really want to eat, but I'll eat it because I'm hungry. So I had that on the way flying back. Now the flight back was supposed to be like 2 hours and 30 minutes coming back. So as we're in the air, it was a smooth flight, only like 20 passengers, which is great. But then as we're sitting in the air, it just feels like we're in the air for a while. So the pilot ends up calling us and letting us know that there is a ground stop in Dallas due to weather. So a ground stop means that the airport is closed. So if the airport is closed, that means we just have to sit in the air and wait until the airport opens. That's number one. The problem with that is we're wasting fuel as we're sitting in the air just circling over the airport. Then once they do finally open up, it goes by like first come first serve, and there were obviously other planes that were waiting, so we have to wait in line. So there were already, let's say, 20 planes ahead of us, so we would have to potentially wait 40 minutes from the time that the estimated time of 20 minutes that the ground stop is supposed to end. So we're waiting, and then the pilot says, hey, we're not going to have enough fuel, so we're going to have to go to College Station, Texas, which is only like a 30-minute flight from DFW. So we were like, okay, cool. So we're in the air for maybe like 30 more minutes, then we finally head over to College Station. As we're about to land, I mean, we have already done our initial descent service. We wrapped everything up. I can feel the plane going down because I'm the aft, so I can definitely feel the plane about to land. The plane is like going like this, and then you just feel it go back up. And I'm like, am I? I know I'm hungry, but I'm like, I feel like we just went back up in the air. So the pilot calls us and tells us that air traffic control basically communicated with the pilots that they're not going to be able to land in College Station. We have to land at an airport that has customs because we just came from Mexico. And although we are just going to get fuel, in the event that we are waiting for a long time or the pilot times out, or just if anything happens and we need to deplane, all the passengers must go through customs to like get off the plane. Like you can't just go to a regional airport, and College Station is a regional airport. So we get back in the air, and then we're in the air for about 40 minutes to get to San Antonio. We get to San Antonio, and their crew is like, oh my God, what y'all doing here? So now we have to explain to them, hey, we're here to get fuel. We have to open the door at this point. When we open the door, you always have to open the door to get fuel. This is important. When we open that door, we are not getting paid. We're not getting paid. So I'm like, we need to wrap this up. Y'all should have already had the fuel sitting there waiting on us. I don't even understand why we have to like communicate while we here. So the passengers, they were actually moderately cool. Like they weren't really complaining. They were just like, okay, like a few of them had connections, but we told them pretty much like everything is delayed. So your plane is not leaving because there's a ground stop. So you should be fine. So we open up the door. I'm not getting paid no more. Y'all, please tell me why. Something was going on with their fuel machine. It was broken. They had to like call a mechanic, but the mechanic was off. We had that door open for an hour and 20 minutes. Okay. Hour and 20 minutes. We finally closed the door, and now we have to fly to DFW. Pause. This has been a long day, okay? We had a 2 hour flight that basically from all that time has been now 4 hours. And I was hungry 4 hours ago. So now I'm hangry. Okay, I put my mask on because I was like, I already know that I'm giving RBF. I already know because I'm literally starving and I do not want to just fill up on Biscoff cookies and pretzels because I already had ate one of each. So I was like, no, that's enough. So I put my mask on because I was just like, you know what? I don't even want to give off like bad energy on the plane. I'm just gonna mind my business, do my job, and look at the glass half full. I'm gonna go home. So we finally get to Dallas. Then when we get to Dallas, y'all, there was a plane that was at our gate, and there was a mechanical issue with that plane. Y'all, I was like, come on. Why we couldn't just go to another gate? I don't know. That's obviously above my pay grade. I'm here to pass out the cookies and pretzels, not tell them to just put us at another gate. So we had to wait 30 minutes, right? So I am good and hungry. I'm lightheaded over it. I'm just like, please. And like the passengers, I will give them that. They were fairly in a good mood. Like they could have been very dramatic and extra and over it, but they actually weren't. All of them were pretty much coming from vacation, so they should be in a good vibe. So we finally get off the plane, and now I have to go through customs. Like typically when I leave, I can get to my car within 20 minutes, but because I have to go through customs, I have to go all the way this long 15-minute like runway just to get to the customs area. So that was like an extra 20 minutes. When I tell y'all, my head was pounding. Like my head was pounding. I did not get to my car until about 9:30 p.m. And then the issue with that was I was supposed to have a 3-day trip starting the next day and go to Mexico again. But this time I was going to go to Chihuahua, Mexico. And I was like, I'm exhausted and I've been on the plane all day. Like, there's no way that I'm going to be able to get on this flight tomorrow because I'm just drained. Like, that was a long day of unexpected delays and ground stop because of weather. So it was just so like random. So that is how our days happened. Then I was working with the pilot, and the pilot, which is very random, but we were both working the same trip tomorrow. And then he was like, so are you going to be at work tomorrow? And I was like, if you got to ask, you know the answer. You know the answer. Have a good night. Like, we were on this plane all day, and we were supposed to be on the plane all day the next day. So the next day came, and we had a turn to South Bend, Indiana, and then an overnight in, I don't remember, maybe like Shreveport, Louisiana, and then the next day we were going to Chihuahua, Mexico. So I picked up the trip when we got to Chihuahua, Mexico. And then I saw the pilot, and he said that he had just picked up the trip at the Chihuahua turn as well. Honestly, as a flight attendant, if I'm drained, I need to rest and regroup so that I have a good energy and a good attitude for the next day. And the next day was going to be a full day, like 3 flights and long flights. And it's like, you have to think, okay, it could be bad weather again. It could be the same situation. And I need my social battery to be up so I can interact with these passengers and not have an attitude. So I was just like, you know what? I'm going to head out and I will pick up the trip to Chihuahua. Now, as a line holder, when you're a line holder, you're able to drop your trips or you can post them to have somebody else pick them up. So I posted the trip for $50 and somebody picked it up. So by the grace of God, I was able to rest, get myself together, and then I did the Chihuahua turn. That was that story. Honestly, that whole Mexico trip was just a teaser for what's to come for the holidays, okay? Stay tuned for part 2. Please drop a yellow heart if you're still with me. And also let me know, what would you have done? Would you have worked the next day, or Would you have dropped the trip? Would you have called out? Like, am I tripping? What type of food would y'all have brung? Like, talk to me in the comments because that was just part one. Stay tuned for the second part.